To the Brazilian markets that slid after President Dilma Rousseff's narrow re-election victory. Ben Tavener, a freelance journalist based in Sao Paulo, joins us on the line now. Ben, thank you for making the time to join us. Why did the market give President Dilma Rousseff a vote of no confidence?
Well, as you say, they really did collapse yesterday, the day after she was re-elected. We saw the currency, the real, down 3%, in fact closing to its worst point against the US dollar since April 2005. And every point during the first round and second round election campaign, every time there was any sense of improvement in the opinion polls, the markets took a dive, both the stock exchange, the Bovespa, and the currency, the real. They're really not a fan of hers because of what they see as very interventionist policies, fiscal policy, and of course we're now technically in recession here in Brazil. The first 2 quarters of this year were negative growth, and we're through the upper ceiling of the government's target on inflation, over 6.5%, and this year GDP growth is looking sort of paltry, just over 0.3% is the market's forecast at the moment. And really we hadn't seen much sign from her that she would improve that, even if she won a second mandate. She said, look, obviously something is going to have to happen, but I'm not going to do anything that would somehow aggravate the jobs market. Of course, at the moment we're looking at very, very low unemployment here in Brazil, and nothing that would upset those crucial flagship social programs that were the kind of, as I say, the flagship of her first mandate here in Brazil, which took so many millions of people out of poverty.
Ben, there's also the perception that her support base really comes from the poorer north, and that it's the south that she needs to court in order to get business onto her side. Just thinking about that, what do you think the priorities of this new administration should be?
Well, it's a really interesting one, saying that the poor side of her and the rich in the south don't, because if you take a look at the figures, in fact, numerically, because the northeast isn't that populated, more people down here in the south voted for her. But you're right, here in the state of Sao Paulo, which is of course seen as the economic hub, the heartland of Brazil, she lost against Aécio Neves. And really, she does need to name a new finance minister. That's probably one of the first things she really needs to do to get the markets back on. The finance minister here, Guido Mantica, they've already said that he will be leaving. We don't know who yet it will be. We need to see whether that's going to be somebody else from her PT Workers' Party, or perhaps somebody with a little bit more business acumen, somebody that's worked with the markets. The name that was floated today was the former president of Bradesco Bank, one of the biggest banks here in Brazil. So that's something that really needs to be seen. She did go on TV last night in her first mainstream primetime TV interview to say that she will be announcing something in the next month, in November, to give us an idea, to give us a sense of how she will look forward and how she will kickstart the economy. Because we're at the moment, as I say, we're looking at a very paltry growth forecast for next year. But although we've had these promises and the markets have reacted positively to them,
yes.
Right now we've got the Bovespa up 2.5%. We are still really lacking on detail. We don't know who's going to be taking that position of finance minister. So she really needs to do something, a statement of intent on the economy and on inflation.
Ben, thank you so much for that insight.